Thank you.
What for? I only did what every other psychopathic killer would do.
You, of all people, should know what it means to be released.
Look, I tried to hold up the investigation on the work release scheme for as long as possible. But after what's been happening here... Well, there's the implication of you and Reynolds, Meg Jackson's association with an inmate's father, and now an officer involved with Noel.
Well, you've read my report.
I'm sorry, but the department isn't happy. They're sending over an inspector, Stewart Gillespie. He'll be spending some time here, and no doubt he'll be suggesting quite a few changes. If Wentworth isn't run the way he feels it should be, I don't have to warn you of the consequences.
Do you know who they'll be sending?
A man by the name of Stewart Gillespie. I don't know anything about him, but I'm sure he'll be most efficient at his work.
One of those, eh?
Yes, I'm afraid so. He'll look into every minor detail in the prison, and if he can find fault, I am sure he will.
It's not going to be easy, is it?
No, well, we'll just have to present the best front we can. There's a lot of sprucing up to be done here. I'd like you to organize a special work program.
Well, the fact that we're short-staffed isn't going to help.
I am aware of that. It's going to be difficult for everyone, but in a situation like this, we just have to pull together.
Yes, of course. Look, don't worry. I'm right behind you on it.
Thank you. I'm sure I'll need all the support I can get.
Stuart, when you look at your faces, they're all so long you could tuck them into your knickers. Come on, let's have a smoke.
Well, isn't it worrying you, Bea, all those things they said about you on the radio and in the paper?
Yeah, that was bad luck, honey.
Oh, so what? I'm not out there. Who cares what they say on the outside? It happens in here that matters.
Oh, I don't know, Bea. I reckon you should really do something.
Yeah, why don't you sue him?
Yeah, I can just see me ring up my fancy lawyer to arrange it.
No, seriously, I think you should see a lawyer.
Oh, what's the point? I end up dragging my name down in the mud. Besides, like I said, who cares? We've got better things to think about.
Like what?
Like the panto.
Oh, yeah. I reckon we could do something real bonza.
Yeah, we'll have to decide what we're going to do, and I reckon Cinderella would be good.
Yeah, and I could be the fairy godmother.
Yes, and there are no shortage of ugly sisters, eh?
Oh, I don't know. Why don't we do something a bit more gutsy? Like, how about Little Red Riding Hood? I mean, kids love to be scared, and make it really scary.
Yes, and I could play the big, bad wolf. After all, that's right up my alley, jumping out at little girls, isn't it?
You could say that.
And you, my dear, where are you off to today, my pretty one?
I'm going to see my grandma.
Oh, I can be her.
Oh, no way. I have to eat her, and I reckon you'd be too tough.
Oh, you don't eat her, you put her in the cupboard. And then when the woodcutter comes along to save Little Red Riding Hood, he lets her out.
Well, who's going to play the woodcutter?
I reckon I can handle that. You give me an axe, I'll practice on Vera.
I'm just saying that it isn't right for us to try to deceive the department. They should see Wentworth exactly as it is.
Oh, for goodness sake, Vera. It's obvious Mrs. Davidson has to have the place looking as spick and span as possible. I agree with Jim. It's important for all of us to present a good image.
Yes, I think so, too.
Right, well, we've got 2 days before this man arrives, so our normal duties will be replaced by clean-up supervision.
Oh, well, the women aren't going to like the work much.
Do them good to do some hard work for a change.
It's not going to be slave labour. In fact, they might even enjoy the change from routine. Now, I've drawn up a list of responsibilities. Vera, will you take the garden?
It seems I don't have a choice.
Meg, H block.
Right.
Joyce, library.
The library?
Yes, and you too, Burns. There are still a lot of books to be sorted and put away.
Well, the change is as good as a holiday, I reckon.
And we can all do with a holiday from this joint.
Come on, you two.
I hope you lot can manage without us.
I don't think we'll notice any difference.
Did you hear that? I work my fingers to the bone, and what do you get for it?
Bony fingers.
Will you keep that noise down?
Oh, what's the matter, Miss Bennett? Got another hangover?
Do you want to end up in the pound, Smith?
No.
Stokes, Belly, Shepherd, this way, please.
What's with... They seem that we can run the laundry on our own.
The only thing we think you two are capable of is pulling up weeds. Now, you'll both be working in the garden under my supervision.
What about the laundry?
Look, just do as you're told, Smith. You don't need to know why.
Hey, look, Lizzie, more comics. How terrific.
Oh, I like a good book myself. A good romantic story. Takes me a while to get through them, but I like to read how things used to be.
Imagine yourself being swept off your feet by Rudolph Vasilino or something, whatever his name was.
Rudolph Valentino. Good, I reckon he'd be a bit old to be sweeping anybody off their feet. I'm a bit past it myself, too, I reckon.
Here's the bloke I like, the Phantom.
Bloody ugly-looking coot.
How would you know? He never takes his mask off or his costume.
Come on, get on with it. You're supposed to be sorting them, Doreen, not reading them.
Hey, have a look at this. A history of the Wentworth district. I reckon we might get a Guernsey in this.
Prison, you mean?
Yeah, I reckon they ought to mention it.
Oh, probably written before this place was even built. Looks old enough.
Oh, I don't know. This place has been built for over 20 years, you know. Hasn't it, Mrs. Barry?
Oh, some of the amenities seem that old, Lizzie.
Especially the showers and the loos.
Oh, most of the building's been modernised, of course.
Well, they could have made it a bit more bloody comfortable while I was at it. I'm going to read this.
No, you two keep working. Now, I've got a couple of other areas to check on. I'll be back shortly, but I expect that whole pile to be sorted by then.
Yeah, you can trust us.
Time for a smoko, don't you reckon?
I reckon. Hey, can you just imagine him coming through your window one night?
Wouldn't be much bloody good to you if he never takes his costume off.
Oh, Lizzie.
Here's a picture of us.
Of us?
The prison, I mean. Oh, look at all them paddocks where the houses are now. Let's see what it says. Oh, here we are. The Wentworth homestead, which gave the district its name, was built in the late 1860s. Beautifully furnished and appointed, the house was the site of many lavish parties and balls. At these functions, the wine flowed freely. God, I wish I'd been there.
Well, where does he get the bit about the prison?
Hang on, I'm coming to that. Wentworth Homestead became famous for its extensive wine cellars. The house itself was demolished in the late 1830s, and the picture on the facing page shows the construction of the proposed women's penal institution, Wentworth Detention Centre. The famous wine cellars are now part of the detention centre's stormwater drainage system. Oh, do you know what that could mean?
No, what?
If them cellars are still there, we could be sitting on a mountain of booze.
How is everything, Mrs. Jackson?
Well, we've got all the women working in different areas. We should have the place spick and span by the time the inspector arrives.
It's going to be a very disruptive time, I'm afraid.
I hope my taking some time off after the marriage won't be too difficult. I know you're short-staffed already.
You're entitled to a honeymoon. We can't deny you that.
Well, Bob and I would like to have a church wedding, but a very simple one. As we've both been married before, we don't want too much fuss. Just want to share it with our friends.
Yes, of course. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, actually, I was hoping that you'd be matron of honour.
Oh, Meg, I'd be delighted. Even if I'm no longer governor by then.
Bea?
Yeah.
I've been reading this book.
Well, it must have pictures in it.
No, listen to me. It's all about the Wentworth district, and it reckons this place is built where the old Wentworth homestead used to be, and it had cellars full of plonk.
Big deal. That's not going to do us any good, is it?
Well, it might.
Yeah, the book says that the cellars are still there.
Yeah, and if the cellars are still there, there might still be some plonk.
Oh, come on.
They would have got rid of it by now, Lizzie.
Oh, they could have missed some.
I think it's highly unlikely, Lizzie.
Still, what you thinking, Bea?
I'd like to have a look at that book.
I sneaked it into me cell so you can have a look at it after lunch.
What you got in mind, Bea?
I don't know yet. We could always tell everyone we've got our own cellar.
Yeah, sounds real posh, doesn't it? Excuse me, I am going to the cellar to get some red wine to drink with our lunch.
Oh, jolly good idea. I always think red goes well with stew, don't you?
Would you file these for me, will you please, Judy? Thank you. Ah, I just got the phone call that you were coming. Thank you. Stay on that white line, please. Your name is Anne Margaret Griffin, is that correct?
Yes?
You've been charged with armed robbery and will be held on remand until your trial.
It's all a dreadful your mistake. I tried to tell the police, but they wouldn't listen to me. I didn't steal any money. It was given to me by my friend. The woman in the shop said I threatened her with a carving knife. It wasn't me. It couldn't have been.
Look, you'll have a chance to explain all that at your trial. Now, are you expecting bail to be forthcoming?
Well, only if they can find Megan. I haven't anyone else.
Yeah, well, I don't know why I'm hanging around waiting. No one ever writes to me.
Oh, I might hear from Ken today about the Panto script.
Bet you were glad of another excuse to write to him again, eh?
Oh, no, not much use, really. I can't see Ken being the kind of bloke who's going to hang around and be satisfied with the odd letter every now and then. He'll probably end up marrying some dolly bird. Oh, good luck to him.
I don't know why you waste your time. All men are the same.
How would you know?
I see what you mean.
I got it!
Oh, Lizzie, you ought to be ashamed of yourself at your age.
Silly old devil.
Here, this is a drawing of the old homestead, and I reckon that's a diagram of where the cellars are.
Oh, pretty fair size, aren't they? Oh, if that's a storm water system, there must be some way into it.
Oh, what good would that do us?
Oh, I don't know yet. Till I find out if there is a way into it.
Yeah, but what about that grading thing in the exercise yard?
Oh, no, it's half full of water all the time.
Yeah, I suppose most of those gutters lead into the drainage system. We could never get down into those. Hey, what about that concrete thing in the vegetable garden?
Oh, yeah. I know the one she means. We've never looked under that, Bee.
I've never thought about it before.
Bit hard to move. I mean, it's been there for years and it's all overgrown.
I reckon a couple of us could shift it. Look out. Well, here comes the mailbag.
Stokes, Cavelli, Shepherd.
Is it the lot?
Well, don't tell me you were expecting one, Smith. How often do you get a letter? Right, you're all to go on with the same work you were doing this morning and put a bit of backbone into it.
You'll get a chance to look under that slab.
As you are on remand, you don't have to work unless you choose to. Now, I think I've explained everything. Are there any questions? You are entitled to one phone call per week. You may make one now if you wish.
The only person who can help me is Megan, and I don't know how to get in touch with her. She could tell you that I'm innocent, that she gave me the money.
Well, you are to be interviewed by a police officer shortly. If you think this Megan can help you, you should tell her.
I've tried, but they wouldn't listen to me. They just won't believe I didn't do it.
Work your way over towards the slab. Start clearing around it.
I wish you'd pretend she was you and go to the bloody loo.
About time. My coffee break was due over 10 minutes ago.
Sorry.
Well, don't let it happen again.
Come on, let's try.
That's it.
Well, I'll be buggered.
Well, we've been to the address you gave us for this Megan Evans, but there was no one home. Now, we've been back several times, and it's always deserted.
Oh, that's right. She said she was going to go away for a holiday.
I see. Do you know where?
Surfer's Paradise, I think. Yes, I'm sure she said that's where she was going.
Well, do you know the address where she's staying?
No, it was with a friend. I know she lives somewhere near the beach.
Well, that's not very much help, I'm afraid. You don't know the friend's name?
No.
Oh, well, I think we'll have to get the Surfers Paradise police to see if they can locate Megan Evans. Unfortunately, everything you've told us so far has been pretty vague. We haven't got much to go on.
But there isn't anything else to tell you.
You think this Megan Evans will be able to confirm everything you've told us so far?
Yes, of course she will. Please find her quickly.
Well, we'll do our best, Miss Griffin.
There's a ladder on the side. You can get a whole battalion down there.
Or even us, eh?
Listen, while Irene's talking to Watson, I'm going to go down and have a look around.
No, that's too dangerous. They'll notice you're missing.
Here comes Vera. That's the chance when they're talking. Listen, give us a hand with this. Oh, jeez. Reckon you stand up and keep me covered?
Yeah, but you be careful. You don't know what's down
here. Why are they talking?
Just a minute.
Hey, she's coming.
What are you two standing about for?
Oh, look at our backs to rest, Vera.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I can't keep at it all the time. Not with my pacemaker here, you know. Gotta have a break sometime.
Don't work on the other side of the garden, Smith. I don't trust you two together.
Oh, turn it up, Vera. What do you think we're going to get up to out here?
I'm not going to give you a chance to get up to anything. Now, over the other side.
Whatever you say. Can you put that back on your own?
No.
Well, I can't see how you're going to get anyone to go down that hole, B. Because, I mean, the screws are going to notice if either you or Judy disappear.
Yeah, they might be dumb, but they're not that dumb.
I'll make it work. And get some of the other women to create a diversion.
I still reckon they'll catch on if either you or Judy go.
Yeah, we're going to be a bit hard to miss, you know. I think we ought to get the skinnies to go down there. Besides, if we go, we're likely to get stuck halfway.
Yeah, why don't you let the mouse go down? I mean, she wouldn't be missed so quick.
Oh, that's right. Let her live up to her name.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. I'll have a look. Hello. What have we got here?
This is Anne Griffin.
Hi.
Doreen, I'd like you to show her the ropes.
Oh, yeah. First thing we better do is get you some food.
Oh, no, thanks. I'm not hungry.
Well, you've got to eat.
No, I couldn't, honestly.
I don't blame you. I can't eat this myself. It's not as good as Mother used to make, and she was a lousy cook.
Well, come on. Sit down anyway. This here is Lizzie, and Judy, and B. And B's in charge round here.
The governor's in charge around here, Doreen.
Oh, you know what I mean, Mrs. Jackson.
What are you in for, Anne?
Oh, it's all a mistake.
Oh, yeah, we all make mistakes. I killed 2 people. That's the mistake I made that got me in here.
Oh, I've had a bit of a run of bad luck. I've lost my job, and while I was waiting for the dole, the landlady threatened to throw me out of the house. She was really nasty.
Sounds like old Vinegar's opened a boarding house on the outside.
Yeah, just like her style.
Go on, Anne.
Well, I didn't know what I was going to do, and then my friend Megan gave me some money.
Oh, you're lucky to have a good friend to help you.
Oh, yes, she's always helping me. She's my best friend.
Well, if she's your best friend, how come you ended up in here?
The police came. They said I'd held up a shopkeeper with a carving knife and taken some money from her. And when they found the money that Megan had given me, they said it was from the robbery. They arrested me.
Oh, but that's not much evidence for them to go on.
The lady from the shop identified me in a lineup.
Oh, well, you're going at me in there.
I know, but it wasn't me. She made a mistake. I told the police all about Megan, but they didn't seem to believe me.
Well, why doesn't your friend come forward and tell them herself?
She's away on holidays. Until they find her, I'll have to stay in here.
But that's awful when you haven't done anything.
It's bad enough when you have. You haven't been in before.
Oh, no, I've never been in any sort of trouble before.
Well, don't you worry, honey. We'll look after you while you're in here, won't we, girls?
Yeah, why not?
Hi. Want some company? Hey, come on, cheer up. We told you at dinner we're going to look after you. If that friend of yours pays the bail money, well, you'll be out of here before you know what happened.
Yes. When she tells them how she gave me the money, they'll let me go, won't they?
Well, anybody'd be crazy to think you capable of doing a stick-up with a knife. You're just not the type. Anyone can see that.
I didn't expect you women to be so nice.
Well, it would depend on who you asked. Vinegar Tits would tell you different.
Who's that? Vinegar, you know.
Oh, she's a screw. What a bitch. Anyway, tell you what, you just stand behind me. She'll never even know you're there.
You remind me of Megan. She always looks after me.
Well, she wasn't exactly there when you needed her. Have you known her a long time?
Oh, yes, for years. I really love her. She's much more attractive than I am, and she's not scared of anyone. She knows how to handle people and get what she wants.
She sounds like a good friend to have.
Yes, she is. I wish you could meet her.
Well, maybe one day I will. Let's hope it's not in this joint, eh?
You're very nice, Judy. I'm glad I've met you.
Thanks. Well, time for us to get locked up in our cages. I better go back to mine, huh? I'll see you in the morning.
Sometimes I wish I could go to sleep and never wake up again.
Hey, we'll have no more of that kind of talk. Now, don't you worry, Anne. You're going to be okay. Good night.
Do you reckon those cellars might lead out to somewhere on the outside, B?
Could be full of water for all I know.
Yeah. What do you know? It says here that Wentworth homestead in the 20s belonged to Squizzy Taylor's right-hand man.
You mean there were crims here even before it was a prison?
I almost met him once. Who? Squizzy Taylor. I met a girl who went to a party with a bloke who knew him.
Well, that almost makes you best mates, doesn't it?
Well, what do you reckon all this cleaning up business is about, B? I mean, why all of a sudden has everything got to be just right?
I don't know, I've been wondering about that too. I reckon someone must be coming.
To inspect the place, you mean?
Something like that. They certainly want it cleaned up in a hurry.
Yeah. God, you ought to read about the parties they used to have here.
I want to read about it, Lizzie, I will. So meanwhile, why don't you just read about it?
Oh, bugger it. Just when it was getting interesting. I remember I used to go to big parties like that. I was only a teenager then, of course. I was quite a looker. Bit different from now.
It's the truth, I hope so.
I remember I had this lovely beaded dress. I used to call it me long dress. Cutting down to me knees. Do you reckon you could just go to sleep and dream about it, Lizzie, and let us get some sleep too? Oh, there was lots of booze at them parties. There was bathtubs full of it. And dance, we used to dance all night. The Charleston and the Black Bottom. Oh, you should have seen me then. I could kick up my heels all right. They had some beaut songs in those days. Not like the rubbish they have now. Da 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 da. Shut up, Lizzie! Hey, do you reckon you really should let someone go down that hole, B? I mean, you don't know what's down there.
No, we have to find out, don't we? Listen, are you emptying rubbish tins this morning as usual?
Yeah, worse luck.
Well, look, I don't know which screw's on duty, but it doesn't matter. Judy and I and the other women are going to create a diversion. And when we do, I want you to slip down that hole.
But you don't know what's down there.
Well, that's the whole bloody idea, isn't it? I want you to go and have a gander and come back and tell us. Oh, come on. I thought you had some guts. You can borrow my torch if you like. You won't be in the dark.
OK, I'll do it.
Telling me you will. Was I say so? OK, now the rest of you, listen to me. If any of the screws ask where Mouse is when she's down the hole, just say she's somewhere else. If they ask in the kitchen, tell them she's in here. If they ask in here, say she's in the workshop. Anywhere, as long as you say she's somewhere else, OK?
Yeah, give me the old run around, huh?
That's right. Oh, and about bloody time, too.
Yeah, I'm starving.
Do you understand that?
Yeah, I do.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Come on, Patsy.
What is it? How did I guess? Still have to go to there.
I've got cream for the boil.
Well, we've just about got the whole of H block sparkling. Where would you like us to move on to next?
The garden still needs a lot of work. Perhaps these women could assist the ones who are already out there.
Righto, ladies, you can start packing up now and we'll move out to the garden. I don't think you've got any need to worry. If this inspector is fair-minded at all, he'll be able to see that Wentworth's been run very well.
If he's fair-minded. Some of those department inspectors can be very tough.
Well, I'm sure he won't be able to criticise your administration.
Thank you for your support.
All right, ladies, come on. Let's move along now.
Where the hell's Mouse?
Oh, she'll turn up. If she's on garbage duty, she'll have to.
Ah, now I've got 2 screws to contend with.
We can do it. Anyway, here she comes.
OK, let's get the cover off.
Go straight over to bed and I want 2 hours of uninterrupted work. No chatting, OK? Right, better ring.
Didn't you see that? It was a big black thing. It scared the hell out of us.
I didn't see anything, Bryant.
What do you think you saw?
Think Schmink, the son of a bitch, nearly bit us.
A big black snake reared up out of the grass at us.
Don't be ridiculous. There are no snakes in this area.
It's possible.
Oh, it's more than possible. It was here. The others saw it, didn't you?
Well, then I'm very surprised that it escaped the two of you.
Like it didn't bite you, Vera. It would have died. I'm not going to throw those stack of comics out. I'm going to read them. Read them? You've read them half a dozen times. Well, I'll read them again, won't I? Oh, you in here all on your Pat Malone? Oh, well, we were going to chuck these out, but you can read them if you like.
Oh, I don't feel like reading.
Oh, you have to do something. You can't keep sitting in here with a long face.
I was thinking about my little girl.
You got a daughter?
I had one. She was a beautiful little thing, but she was taken away from me.
Struth. That's what happened to me. They took my kids away. Oh, you poor little thing. I know how you feel. Yeah, I know what it's like to lose a kid, too.
She had biggest blue eyes. She was only 5 months old when her father took her away from me.
Her father? He took her?
Yes, I couldn't stop him. But don't you worry, I'll get her back when I get out of here.
Bloody men. Pity Bee wasn't around. She'd have fixed him. Must have been awful for you.
It nearly broke my heart. I don't know what I would have done if Megan hadn't have been there to help me over the rough patch.
Oh, you're real lucky to have a good friend like that. But don't you worry. When you get out, you'll find her. You'll be all right.
I hope so.
Yeah, well, Lizzie and me will be your friends while you're in here. Come on, Lizzie. We better go and dump these and get back to the library before old Barry comes looking for us. I suppose so. Hey, why don't you come into the library and work with us? There's no point in sitting here on your own, Sim.
No, I'm right.
Look, you take these comics and read them. They're real terrific.
Thanks.
I'll get them back off you later. Oh, yeah. She got to get them back. She's only read them 6 times.
Can I help you?
I have an appointment to see Mrs. Davidson.
Right, sir. If you just make your way through to the inner gate there. If you smiled, your face would split.
Can I help you, sir?
Yes, my name's Andrew Hunt. I'm here to visit my niece, Phyllis Hunt.
Oh, just one moment. I'm sorry, sir. Phyllis Hunt had a visit from her brother only yesterday. I'm afraid only one visit a week is allowed.
Surely special permission can be arranged. I'm an extremely busy man. It's been most difficult for me to get time to come here today.
I'm afraid there are regulations.
This isn't just a casual visit. It's a matter of great urgency. I insist on seeing my niece.
Well, if you'll wait a moment, I'll see what I can do.
She's been down there a long time.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking.
Listen, see if you can cover for me while I take a look. Mouse! Mouse, are you there?
All right. You heard the bell. Or don't you two want lunch?
Oh, I'm not very hungry, Miss Bennett.
No, neither am I. Listen, we'll stay out here and keep working while the rest of them go inside and eat.
You'll go to the dining room like everyone else, both of you.
Well, what's the point if we're not hungry?
I couldn't care less whether you ate or not, but you're not staying out here. Now get inside.
What's the hold-up?
They're playing silly games. They say they don't want lunch.
Oh, no, don't be silly. You've been out here all morning. Besides, you've got to come in for muster.
Well, hurry up.
Yeah, OK. Oh, hang on, let's want to fix my shoe.
Well, be quick about it, Smith.
Yeah.
Mouse! Mouse, are you there?
Birdsworth?
Here.
Bryant? Burns?
Yeah, I'm still here, damn it.
Yeah, and I'm keeping an eye on her.
Cavelli?
Yep.
Griffin?
Yes.
Hunt?
Oh, she's on kitchen duty.
Oh, yes, that's right. And Richards is on kitchen duty too, isn't he?
Yeah, and I bet it won't improve the taste of the food any.
Yes, well, I know you're here, Smith.
Aren't I always?
Stokes?
Yeah.
Shepherd?
Yeah.
Trapp?
Where are you, Trapp?
Oh, come on, Mouse, don't keep us waiting.
Trapp?
Oh, yes, right, I forgot. She got something on her cardi when she's emptying all those rubbish tins. She went and changed.
Right. Well, that's the lot. OK, ladies, move into the dining room.
Tom, I'm starving, aren't you?
Hey, B, you know you said them cellars are still full of water. Well, you don't think Mouse might have drowned, do you?
Of course she hasn't bloody drowned.
Do you want something?
Who are you?
Officer Bennett.
What's your rank?
I'm a senior officer. Not that I can see that that has anything to do with you. Would you mind telling me why you're here?
I'm Stewart Gillespie, the department inspector.
Oh, I didn't realize.
That was quite clear. Frankly, I'm stunned at the laxity of discipline I've already observed. I want to see Mrs. Davidson immediately.
Yes, of course. I'll take you to her.
Julie, warn Mrs. Davidson what's coming quickly.
Eric Davidson? What? But he wasn't expected until tomorrow. Oh, dear. Oh, thank you, Julie.
Mr. Gillespie from the department to see you, Mrs. Davidson.
I'm quite capable of introducing myself. Thank you, Miss Bennett.
Thank you, Miss Bennett. How do you do, Mr. Gillespie? I don't believe we've met before.
No, we haven't.
Oh, please sit down.
Go.
I understood you weren't coming until tomorrow.
Yes, that's why I came a day early.
Oh?
I wanted to see Wentworth as it really is, not some false display got up especially for my benefit.
I won't deny we do want to make a good impression.
You've already made a very bad one.
Why do you say that, Mr. Gillespie?
I was able to pass through both sets of gates without once being asked to identify myself and without being checked in any way.
I see. Of course, you would have been asked who you were at reception.
I looked at your sign-in book and chose the name of a prisoner who had a visitor only yesterday. I presented myself as her uncle and demanded to see her. The officer went off to arrange it, despite the fact that regulations plainly state a prisoner may have visitors only once a week.
Yes, Officer Carter came to see me. Apparently, you were most insistent that the matter was of extreme urgency. Of course, whether a prisoner is allowed additional visits is entirely at my discretion.
So, you would have let me in to see Hunt?
I asked Officer Carter to bring you to me. I would have ascertained the reason for your wanting to speak to Hunt, and if I considered it important enough, I would have allowed you to see her. I don't think that's unreasonable, do you?
Except for the fact that I'm not who I said I was. I could have been anybody getting in to see that woman.
You would have had an officer with you the whole time. However, I shall speak to the gate guards and ask them to be more careful in future. Now, would you like to have a look around?
I want to see everything, and in detail, and not just the things you want to show me.
Well, at least she's not headed in this direction. With our luck, she put her foot straight down the hole.
Yeah, I wonder what could have happened to Mouse.
I don't know. Listen, I'm going to call down there again.
You can't do that. Mrs. Jackson will hear you.
Not if you get the women singing. Bev, Get over there and talk to Mrs. Jackson. Come on. You can talk about anything. Pretend you're interested in the flowers. Anything, so long as she doesn't notice what I'm doing.
Okay, girls, come on, now let's have a break. Hey, how about we have an old-fashioned sing-along, you know? We'll sing, one of those songs Lizzie's always singing, something like Roll Out the Barrel. Yeah, I'll count you in, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Roll out the barrel, we'll have a barrel of fun. Roll out the barrel. Mouse, are you down there? Sing, Mouse. Barrel, ring out a song of good cheer. Now, someone is singing off key here. I want you to go over the melody in your head, and we'll sing it in a minute. Oh, Mouse, where are you? Okay, once more from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Roll out the barrel. We'll have a barrel of fun.
Not a goddamn thing.
So maybe she's hurt.
Well, we'll wait a few minutes longer.
No, I think if she doesn't come up soon, we'll have to tell Mrs. Jackson.
No.
Well, what else are we going to do?
We'll wait another 15 minutes.
For the gang's all here.
These are not kept locked?
Only at night.
You mean the women can just wander about?
Only within a certain area. We found that keeping the gates locked makes a great deal more work for the officers. We are very short-staffed, as you probably know.
Yes, I've studied your file very carefully.
If we feel there is any unrest brewing, then of course we keep the gates locked.
Isn't there the danger that by the time you're aware of it, it could already be too late?
I don't think so. The officers are very sensitive to the moods of the women. They pick the danger signals very quickly and act upon them.
Yeah. You've had quite a lot of trouble over the years, haven't you?
No more than any other prison, I shouldn't think.
Discussing other prisons, Mrs. Davidson. This cell could be more tidy. There does seem to be a general lack of discipline. In my opinion, if the smaller details, like keeping cells tidy, if they're allowed to slip, then eventually the whole prison becomes sloppy. I've seen it happen time and time again.
As I said, Mr. Gillespie, we are very short-staffed.
On your feet. The prisoner will stand when an officer enters the cell, especially a governor.
I'm sorry, I didn't know
It's
that...
all right, Anne.
Oh, Bea, we're going to have to tell someone.
Yeah, hang on. Just hang on.
Listen, she's been down there for hours. She could be in trouble.
We're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Be careful, there's someone coming. We'll have to move fast, cover up that hole if he comes near it.
We can't cover it up with Mouse still down there.
Well, you just shut up and do as I say.
How do you do?
And you're in charge of all these women?
Yes, that's right.
They all have spades, gardening tools, while you're completely unarmed.
Oh, yes, but it's quite common. Well, nothing's ever gone wrong in the past.
Which is no guarantee for the future. They could be plotting anything. Anyway, why do you need so many women out here?
The garden had become a little run down.
I see. So this was to be part of that false display I mentioned, isn't it?
Mr. Gillespie, the garden had been neglected because the women were concentrating on work indoors. We do not have enough officers to deploy in both areas.
I'll take a look around.
Oh, watch it, he's coming this way.
Quick, carry that up.
Hello. Hey, don't I know you from somewhere? I think we've met.
Keep on with your work, Bryant.
But this guy looks familiar to me, honest.
Bryant, eh? You've got exactly 5 seconds to get back to work.
Oh, God. The housemaid's near. Haven't even done any bloody housework.
That's the bell for the end of the working day, Mr. Gillespie. Perhaps you'd like to go back to the building now?
Yes, I think I've seen all I need to out here.
Pack it up, ladies.
We thought you'd gone on holiday.
I couldn't help it, be.
Yeah, listen, you're not even supposed to be out here. You'll have to get you inside somehow. Keep your head down and mix in with the rest.
A somewhat old-fashioned method of filing.
Considering the budget allotted to Wentworth for office equipment, we have very little choice.
Come on, you lot, move along. Could you straighten up and stop shuffling your feet, Bryant?
Oh, Vinegar Tits is in good form today.
What did that woman say?
I'm afraid I didn't hear.
There'll be no talking.
So now I've seen the entire prison.
Yes, I don't think we've missed anything.
I've seen your security measures, I've learned how your staff's deployed, and I've seen the entire plan of the building.
Yes. I assure you, we are not attempting to hide anything from you.
And you no doubt pride yourself on your security.
I think you've seen for yourself that we take adequate security measures.
I don't agree, Mrs. Davidson.
What do you mean?
Who am I?
What?
At no time since my arrival have I been asked to produce any identification. How do you know I'm really Stewart Gillespie?
Well, it was different from what we reckoned down there'd be. It's just not a drain or cellar like. It's a whole lot of different passageways running into one another. It goes for miles.
That still doesn't explain why you were down there for bloody hours.
I got lost, didn't I? I couldn't find my way back to the hole. Just wandering around in circles. Seemed like bloody days.
That must have scared the hell out of you, love.
Oh, I was really packing it, especially when the torch started going me. I thought I was going to be stuck down there in the dark.
That'd scare the pants off me.
Bloody oath. And then I heard singing. What the hell was that all about?
Roll out the barrel.
Yeah, that's it. Put me on the right track. Still took me a while to get there, though.
There's no water down there?
Oh, nothing but old slimy passageways. God, it was scary. Bits kept on falling on me and I didn't know what it was.
Well, there you are. Where have you been? Good heavens, Mouse, you're filthy. What have you been up to?
Oh, I had another accident with the garbage, Mrs. J. Just tell him being Jude.
Yes, well, you can do that in the recreation room after you've washed. Come on, get a move on.
Yeah, you do pong a bit. Yeah, Mouse.
I see that this protest demonstration resulted in the death of a young girl.
Yes, Leanne Burke. She fell from the roof.
This Bryant woman escaped and was out for several days.
Yes.
It a number of escapes, haven't they, Mrs. Davidson? Lack of discipline again. As far as I can see, it all points a finger directly at your administration. Of course, there's always a well-established pecking order among prisoners. I believe that one of the best ways to improve discipline is to upset that order. Who's Wentworth's top dog?
That would be B. Smith. This is her file. She's not what you'd call a vicious woman. In fact, I feel she often keeps the more aggressive women in check. I don't see that toppling her from position would help a great deal.
I think you could be surprised, Mrs. Davidson. We'll find out, shall we?
I couldn't see any other way out, but there could have been. The torch started to give out after a bit.
Do you reckon we can escape out of it?
Now, forget escaping. Escaping's a mug's game. You're going to get caught and shoved back inside and give them more time. Look what happened to me and Judy. You should know better than that, Doreen.
That's right, honey. It's just not worth it.
So it should be some use to us knowing about it and the screw's not.
Well, there's no bloody grog down there, so I can't see what bloody use it is.
Well, I don't know what use it is either. Yet. And listen, no one's to go down there, you understand? Not unless I say so. Now, just leave me a bit of peace and quiet. I want to have a think about it.
Why does everyone always do what she says?
'Cause she's the boss, that's why.
The boss?
Yeah, you know, somebody's got to be the boss.
Yeah, that's right, love. Bea always knows what's best. That's why everybody takes notes of her.
Besides, if you don't, she'll thump you.
Yeah, so if you just do as she says, you'll be all right.
Oh, he seemed a real pig to me.
Well, I didn't like him from the start, but I wish I'd known who he was. He'll probably report me now.
He'll probably report all of us. But it's Mrs. Davidson I feel sorry for. She looked really upset. From what I could see, he seemed to be picking holes in everything.
You think she could be in real trouble?
Yes, I think she could be. I think she could lose her job.
Oh, I wish I hadn't been so unpleasant to him. Well, if Jim Fletcher's made governor, somebody has to be deputy governor.
Well, I wouldn't want the position. The person at the top is always the one in the firing line. And the bigger you are, the harder you fall.
Not if you don't make mistakes.
He used to give me roses. I wish he could again. But that was on the outside, and things were different then. On the inside, the sun still shines and the rain falls down, but the sun and rain are prisoners too. When morning comes around, last night I dreamed we were together, sharing all the love we'd known, till I had to face the nightmare of waking up alone. On the inside the roses grow, they don't mind the stony ground, but the roses here are prisoners too. When morning comes around.